Hi, it's Josh. This is going to be a little bit of a different video than my other videos, but I just wanted to kind of explain my thoughts on the differences between a high school and a university. These are just things that I've noticed. They're not necessarily true. Some of these things are all exceptions to the rules, but I'm just speaking, generally speaking, these are my thoughts. And the first thing is the professors at universities. The professors at universities seem very, very genuine for the most part. They seem to really care about the students. And at high school, sometimes the teachers, it seems to me that some teachers just do it for the job. It is just a job to them. And I'm not saying all teachers in high school. I'm just saying, generally speaking, sometimes teachers in high school can get the reputation of, okay, it's just a job to me. Let's move on to the next student in the next class. At a university, they're very interpersonal. Professors are very approachable in universities, at least at my university. And a lot of times you can even call them by their first name. Some professors even insist on you calling them by their first name just to establish a relationship towards the student. In high school, the relationship is just student-teacher relationship. There's a separation. It's not as interpersonal. And sometimes in high school, not to give high school a bad name, but a lot of times I don't think high school gives students exposure to the real world. High school should be teaching us about the real world. And unfortunately, that is not always the case. High school is just, at high school, they just have to get the ACT. That's all they care about is the ACT. They just care about standardized tests, and they don't really teach to the student. At a university, they teach to the student, and the professors very much teach to the student. And at a university, they talk to the student, not at the student. I think sometimes in high school, teachers can talk at students instead of talking to them. That can turn some students off. And unfortunately, that is just the way it is. I think high school should teach students about the real world. And I think a university, not to be a snob, but a university is just more professional than high school. High school, when you think about it, it's just not all that professional sometimes. It's just not all that organized. And I think, unfortunately, that is just the reputation of high school. It's just not all that professional. And at a university, there's a higher standard at a university. They expect a lot from their students. They're not going to baby you. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing that they're not always looking over your shoulder. It's way more independent. They're not always telling you what to do. It's basically, you do what you do, and we're not going to control you. We're not going to have all these rules. It's a lot more independent. It gives you a lot more freedom of expression. And high school sometimes doesn't allow freedom of expression. They're saying, high school is do this, don't do this, don't do that. And the professors at universities are a lot more, I don't want to say they don't care, but they're a lot more, they allow you to express yourself. And it seems to me that one of my professors says, sometimes teachers in high school say, if you don't do this, you're doing it wrong. Whereas one of my professors at a university says, Well, there's no right or wrong answer, but there's a stronger choice. And I think that's a good way to look at it. There's no right or wrong. There's just maybe a stronger decision you can make. And I really like that. I really do. Because the professors don't treat you like you're stupid. And they're a lot of them are a lot more understanding. At high school, there tends to be, oh, I'm the teacher, I'm the authority, I rule. Whereas in a university, yeah, they're still the boss. They're still the boss of you, but there's a lot more independence. And there's a lot more responsibility as you as a student. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing that they don't baby you in a university. And there's a lot more work. I think there is a lot more work. But I think some teachers in high school look at university, they say, I think for the most part, they try to kind of, they say it's a lot more work than it is. And it is a lot of work, but I think the teachers at high school make a bigger deal out of it than it actually is. Because, yeah, there is a lot of work when it comes to university, but if you really put your mind to it, you can do it. That's pretty much all I have to say. Those are the biggest differences that I noticed between high school and a university. I hope you enjoyed my comparison in terms of high school versus university. Bye.